Hello, welcome back to Project Air. I'm James, and this week we are taking another look at these hydrofoils to do a part 2 video.
Last time on Project Air we built two hydrofoils, a Mark 1, which was very tail heavy, and a Mark 2, which was extremely unstable, especially in windy conditions.
Now, I've made some mods to both of these craft since Christmas, and I've also learnt a little bit more about the intricacies of hydrofoil engineering. So we're pitting both of these hydrofoils against each other in a head-to-head competition. So first, let's take a look at what I have actually changed.
Okay, so what did I change on the boats? Well, I realised I was wrong about a few things last time out, and thanks to some helpful commenters such as Dave the Hydrofoil research engineer, I managed to get a better grasp on the things that I could improve on. The first thing that I was wrong about was how the lift works on a hydrofoil. You see, I had been thinking about the lift in aeronautical terms, where the main wing is the surface doing all of the work. This, however, is incorrect. The tail on both of my hydrofoils actually create around half the lifting power of the main foils, meaning that the centre of lift is actually much further back than I thought. Following this, the second thing I realised that I'd got wrong was the balance. On the Mark II hydrofoil in the last video, I balanced the craft over the main wing, as this is where I believed the centre of lift was. If you're familiar with how aeroplanes work, you'll probably know that you're supposed to align the centre of lift with the centre of mass, or centre of gravity. With my two hydrofoils, this ideal spot is actually 1/3 of the way back between the two lifting surfaces due to the rear surface producing half the lift of the front. To remedy these issues, I moved the batteries rearward and further down into the hull on the Mark II. This meant that the boat was no longer nose heavy and the craft had an overall lower centre of gravity to improve the lateral stability. In the last video, the Mark I had been hopelessly tail heavy with no chance of getting the rear out of the water. To try and fix this, I moved the battery as far forwards as possible so that the centre of lift was again around 1/3 back from the front foil. A big shout out goes to Dave in the comments for his help with getting my head around these key concepts. Apart from these main lift and balance factors, I also programmed the transmitter to allow me to use differential thrust on the motors of the Mark II to help improve its poor manoeuvrability. With that, the two upgraded boats were ready for another mission.
Alright, it's very cold outside, there might be ice on the lake, but yes, let's go and see how these two perform. Hopefully it's better than last time. This is where it sinks like straight away after putting all the extra work in.
So far so good.
The differential thrust seems to help a bit. Still not super manoeuvrable though.
Oh yeah.
That looked alright, that looked a bit more stable than last time too. That's me using a bit of the differential thrust there to help with the... Ooh. Yeah, it's not really rolling into the turns very well, but... Oh, there we go.
So the Mark II wasn't all that manoeuvrable, but at least it could do this.
Hey, it got the tail up then.
Yeah.
Definitely got the tail up. I'm in danger of getting water in my wellies here.
Although the foils could now lift the boat fully out of the water, I was finding it difficult to keep the boat foil-borne for long. It seemed that the craft was very sensitive to changes in speed and minor adjustments in pitch. If it got fractionally outside of the sweet spot, the wing would appear to stall and the boat would drop. It also didn't help that when turning, water would splash up into the props and slow the hydrofoil down, knocking it out of balance. Flooring it didn't really help either. The boat did seem improved, although not by a massive amount. But how would it compare to its predecessor?
Time for the old faithful, the Mark I. Let's see how this compares to the other one with the shifted balance into the right place. Let's see if we can get the tail up. It's a lot more buoyant, this one.
It's probably something you wanted about.
Yeah.
Straight away I recognised which was the more fun to drive hydrofoil, irrespective of hydrofoiling ability.
It's so much better than the other one.
It's very nippy.
Oh, that's what we should call it. The nippy shippy. I know it's kind of called the Cybertruck, but this one's actual HMS whatever name.
HMS Nippy Shippy.
HMS Nippy Shippy, I think, is the one we're going for at the moment.
The craft still couldn't get its tail up fully, but it did show some minor handling improvements from the shifted balance. Right then, time for a head-to-head challenge with Mike at the controls of HMS Nippy Shippy and myself at the controls of the terrible Mark II.
Quite simple.
Yeah.
There's a go stick.
Yeah.
There's a left and right.
Okay.
And if you want it to pop out of the water, you pull back on the left and right stick.
Okay. Is that all I need to do?
Yep. Congratulations, you're a qualified hydrofoil pilot now.
Okay, let's go.
What are you doing? You're nudging me.
As an ultimate showdown, we decided that a drag race was in order. The Mark II was bad, but could it be that bad?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Unfortunately, the answer is yes.
Mine is awful.
This boat's a legend.
It is a legend. That boat is a failure. It's terrible. It's hiding out of shame. Obviously this one is the Nippy Shippy because it is
Nippy Shippy.
HMS Nippy Shippy. And what's the other one called?
We were thinking the Shippy.
To further prove the Nippy Shippy's legendary status, Mike devised one last daring challenge.
We're going to see if it'll jump the overflow.
Well, I think we just broke the only good boat we have.
So clearly the Mark I is a better all-rounder when it comes to my original aim of creating a cool rescue boat for future projects on the channel. Although it failed somewhat in being a proper hydrofoil, it seems that the front foils do reduce a lot of overall hull drag and allow it to get up to some decent speeds.
Okay, thank you very much to you for watching this video and for supporting the channel. A huge special thanks to my 13 Patreons over on Patreon for your support. You make projects like this possible. For the next video, I'm building a jet tip helicopter, which should be an extremely interesting challenge, to say the least. I'm sure nothing is going to go wrong there. If you'd like to stay up to date with how that's coming along, then probably the best thing to do is to go over to my Instagram. Check that out. In the meantime though, make sure you're subscribed, click the like button if you did like it, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you again for watching.